Recording?
Yep, I just did. When my clock strikes, it's like I try to go by that. And I'll try, when it strikes 6, we need to be done and off because I know some of you have other sessions that you need to go to or attend on Zoom. You're taking other classes. So I'm going to, I tend to gab too long. That's just all there is to it. But I'll try to give you the pertinent information and get you done and get you out of here tonight. But I do kind of like to know where everybody is because if you're out of state, I want you to use the information from your state because every state has certain nuances that are different. The forms look different. If you want to use the form from your state, I am fine with that because they all have the basic same components. The law is a national law, so that's no problem. Okay, so I'm going to tell you first about I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself. I taught special ed for 40 years in the public schools. I taught before there were IEPs. I taught when there was literally, it took 10 minutes to give this test to kids, and based on that test, you could put a student in a program for mental, and at that time it was called mental retardation, on a 10-minute test. Now think about the differences of how the kids are placed now as opposed to then. It's a huge difference. So I've learned, I have grown with the programs and with the laws and implementing them. So I've been around for a long time, have a lot of experience. And I think when you feel like you have all the answers and that's all there is to know, that maybe you're not very effective anymore. And that's not why I got out of teaching in the public schools. A year ago, May, I had students that were aging out at 21 because of the high school they didn't stay in until they're 21 if they have severe disabilities. And the kids were getting more and more, had more physical needs. And I was afraid that like helping get someone up off the toilet or helping put different, or, the depends on them or whatever, I was going to hurt somebody because of the pulling that they do on you, the physical support they needed. And so I decided it was time to let somebody younger and with more strength take my job. And so I switched to Hayes. And I really like teaching the college classes. Even though I have face-to-face contact via Zoom, it's a little bit harder to build relationships through Zoom than it is when you're face-to-face with students in the public schools. But relationships do form. And I think you'll find that out in this class because we do a group project so that you'll get to work with some other people in the class. But my expectations for you are, first of all, you're all professionals, and I expect you to behave as such. And you don't need to take notes on this. I'll post my notes along with the Zoom. I'll attach it for you. Anyway, I expect you to behave as professionals. I want you to, even if you disagree with someone, and it's okay to have different ideas and to disagree, like when you're working together to do the IEP, that's perfectly fine. But you have to figure out compromises, and so you have to learn that professionalism and respect and show it to each other. There is a chain of command, and the policy, when we'll go through the syllabus a little bit next week, but the policies are all linked to to what the college has, so we have to follow those rules. And you have to follow chain of command in your job. You cannot go directly to a board member or directly to a superintendent without talking to your direct supervisor, which may be a building principal or an assistant principal. And you have to follow those steps. And so we practice it here too. So if you have disagreements with me and, I haven't had this situation occur, hopefully I don't ever have it occur, though I can't work out a problem with the student. But if you do, then your next person up the chain of command is with Dr. Lubin, who's a program coordinator. And from there, if you're still dissatisfied with the results, you go to the department head, which is Dr. Moore. And from there, you would go to the dean for the College of Arts, College of Education, which is Dr. Adams. So, there's a chain here, just like there is in public schools that you have to follow. Just like if you were going to have to miss a faculty meeting or some event at a school, you would let your administrator know that you're not going to attend. Just, keep that in practice. And so if you're going to miss a Zoom session, just send me an email and say, I don't need to know why. That's not what I'm asking you to do because you can have all kinds of reasons for not attending. And that's not my business. But just that practice of professionalism, notify me before the Zoom session that you're not going to attend. to say, and I'll watch the video later. You know, I cannot attend, I'll watch the video later, just so I know, and just to keep you in practice for that professionalism part of it. With your emails, when you email me in the subject line, I want you to include 806, and this section is VA, am I right? Do you know where to find that section on your courses? Yeah, it's at the top. When you log into Blackboard, the top left has your section along with the course number. So include that in your email, because if you're asking me about a grade or an assignment, then because I'm teaching multiple classes, then I can go right to your class to look at it to make sure that I'm on the right person without having to open each one and hunt through for you. Does everybody have a Fort Hays email that's working? Okay, because all of my communication will be to you through email, through your Fort Hays email. So check it at least every week. Sometimes I'll send out an announcement, and I always send them, try to send them as email links also, so that you get notified immediately. And then when I look at it, I go, oh, and then I forgot to add something, so I send another one real quick. So always check your email every week, or more often would be nice. This is a graduate level course, so I do expect graduate level writing, even in your emails, no texting language. You know, this is your chance to practice professionalism. I'm trying to think of how to say it nicely. Your emails with me are part of that first impression, and so you want to make a good one. And so think about when you're contacting parents that you want to make a good first impression with them. So you don't use texting language. You know, you're courteous, you're respectful. So all of those things apply to what you're doing in your emails. And then Blackboard. How many of you have been on Blackboard to look at the shell? Has anybody had trouble getting in? Has everybody been able to get in? Stephen, have you had trouble? Okay. Okay, so if nobody's had trouble getting in, so where I want you to go is go to the Start Here tab on the left, and that's week 1. And that has some information about me, and then it's got a program success quiz that opened up today. So, and it does not calculate into your grade. It is just to give you practice with APA mostly. So you can take that quiz as many times as you want to until you get the score you want, but just know it's for practice. It is not part of not part of your grade. So don't worry about what you get on it. And Sandy, I think some of you guys have already taken it because it's the same quiz as it was last time, right? Some things don't change. They're pretty good, huh? Make it easier that way. Just a minute, I have a chat box that just opened up that somebody's having trouble. Okay. So on the first week, next week, we're actually going to go through the syllabus a little bit, because Fort Hays this summer decided that university-wide, everybody needed to be using the same template for their syllabus. So they've changed some. And I used to do the syllabus, and then I would have a course schedule that had all your assignments listed. Well, that now is all one document. And the reason for that is, for the people that are going for licensing out of state especially, when you go to your licensing and they say, well, we need to make sure that you met this standard, and this standard, when you're with your syllabus, it shows exactly where all of those standards were met. So hang on to your course syllabi, you know, download it and save it so that you'll have it for later, okay? Anyway, we're going to talk about the syllabus. We'll talk next week a little bit about how to avoid plagiarism. We're going to talk about APA writing, and we're going to talk about maintaining balance. And I think that's a hard thing to do, because I've decided I'm a workaholic. You know, but you've got, because I don't have small children at home anymore. Mine are grown and gone. But you've got children, you've got new jobs, you've got college coursework you're trying to take. Some of you I know, I've gotten to meet, some of you are coaching. You know, so many responsibilities, and how do you juggle all of that? So we'll talk about that, and the fact that you need to have some you time or some downtime to regroup and regenerate so that you can just go, oh, goodness, I'm so tired. You know, you've got to take care of you in order to be able to do all of those other things and keep all those balls that you're juggling up in the air. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then week 2 and 3, we're going to talk about MTSS, which is the multi-tiered system of support. In other states, they call that response to intervention. They call it RTI. Kansas calls it MTSS. I think we're the only ones that call it that. So you'll know what we're talking about, okay? And we'll talk about writing IEPs, beginning of them. The IEP, you're going to write in pairs instead of doing individual projects. It will be a group of 2, so it'll be a paired project. And you can go in now if you want to into Blackboard. I think it says IEP groups or group project on the left. You can go in there and you can sign up for a partner if there's somebody in class you know. And if not, we can do it. If you don't want to do it ahead of time, we can do it next week in class. It won't take long. Anyway, IEPs are not written. Well, in actuality, most of the IEP, the guts of it, is written by the interrelated teacher, the resource room teachers, the self-contained teacher, whatever the special ed teacher's title is. But it's approved through a group process during an IEP meeting. And 2 heads are always better than 1. And so I've changed it so that it's now a group project. So you can work in pairs. And then when it's submitted, both people get the same grade. Okay. So we'll talk about the IEP project. Then weeks 4 to 6, we're going to talk about literacy, about language, reading, spelling, and writing. Weeks 7 and 8, we're going to talk about math and content areas. And so there's a lot of things that go with this course. And I'm going to share my page. And when I share, I can only see about 3 people. So if you have questions, you're going to have somebody, you're not interrupting, just if you have a question, just say it, okay? Because I can't see you to know that if somebody has a question. So can you see my, well, in just a minute you can. Well, let me try that again. Okay, can you see a page of, it's got like the weeks in literacy and stuff on it, a Word document? Did it show up? Sometimes I can't tell. Sometimes there's a green line around it and sometimes not. So, okay, so this course has 5 quizzes and they are timed at 90 minutes and there's 30 questions for each quiz. So the first one's on instructional practices. The second one's IEPs. The third is language, then reading, then math. And these are very detailed questions. They're very similar to what you're going to have on the praxis that you have to have in order to get your license. So that's the reason you're taking them. You need to have a B in order for this class to count as a graduate level class to get credit for grad school. And so I allow you to retake the quiz until you earn up to a B if you don't get at least a B on the first one. If you get above, if you get 26 or above on the first time you take the quiz, that's your grade on that quiz. But if you get below 26, you can retake it until you earn up to a 26. But I have to reset it each time for somebody to retake it. Okay, so you understand that you can retake to earn up to the B, and that's part of the AEP policy or the special ed policy that you can retake to get the B. And then on the discussion boards, there are 4 of them. The first one's just an introductory activity and there's no grade for it. And you can go ahead and work on that this week. I'd like it to be done by Sunday night at midnight if you can. And go ahead and respond to 2 other people and tell them what you have in common so that you get to know each other. And then there's a discussion board on language, and then one on reading and one on math. And this is really a good place to learn APA citations and references. I do not penalize you for being incorrect in your formatting here as far as APA. I'll show you the correct way to do it in the feedback box so that you can see how it should be done. But because you're going to have to use it when you write your papers. Okay, so I personally believe that when people share their thoughts and ideas, the 2 heads are better than 1. So that's a reason that you must reply to 2 other peers. And your discussion board responses should be between about 300 and 500 words in order to get full credit for it. And then your responses have to be between 75 and 100. And it's not so much a, okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. If I showed that. It's not so much this is what I read and you regurgitate what you read. It's like, how can you put that into practice? How does that apply to what you're doing in your classroom? You know, think about those kinds of connections so that it really, you gain something beneficial from it. And it, you know, it's all based on what you read in Blackboard. And then towards the end of the 8 weeks, and this is a fast-paced course, so you really need to stay caught up. Towards the end of the 8 weeks, you're going to write an instructional plan. And, you know, we'll talk about APA formatting that goes with that when we get closer to it. But so that's basically what this course consists of. Okay? So 2 major assignments is the IEP and then the instructional plan. The IEP is a group project. The instructional plan is solo. Okay? And so you're going to take the information from the IEP and then you're going to write an instructional plan for it. There are case studies in the Blackboard shell that you'll look at, and those will be the students that you use for your IEP and the instructional plan. So that information is provided for you. There's also a sample IEP and a sample instructional plan that you can look at to kind of help guide your writing. I also posted the scoring rubrics, and then Dr. Lubin she does a really neat job. She takes the scoring rubric. Let me see if I can pull it up, and then I'll share it with you so you can see how it works. Let me get one pulled up for you so you can see it. And you know I'm not going to be able to do it right this second because I just said I would. Anyway, I really liked the way that she did it, and so I started doing this for my courses, and I think it's a lot better. I think it really helps you guys know exactly what we're looking for, so there's no surprises, and it's a lot easier to see how your grade's going to be. Okay, let me share this. Okay, so like for the IEP, this is what the rubric looks like. Can you see it? Okay, so there's exceeds expectations, meets expectations, partially meets, and does not meet. And these are the same percentages as it is on the letter grade. So this is an A, a B, a C, and we don't have, and so these are unacceptable. So anyway, the information and the present levels of performance, measurable goals, accommodations, and then I broke it down. So on student information, these are the things that you need to make sure that you've got included in there. See how each section is broken down by what's included? That way it's very specific, you know exactly what you need to include. And you guys are going to be my guinea pig group. I've been reading some information about spiraling curriculum, and so we're going to try it a little bit with this. One of the things that I saw happen before was people we did the whole IEP and then we did the instructional plan. But the background information and the present levels of performance are what go into the gap analysis on the instructional plan. And so we're going to go back and forth between the 2 assignments. And so at the end, so you're going to submit drafts, like the one part of the IEP and one part of the instructional plan, because one plays on the other, built on the other. We're going to go back and forth between the 2, and then when we get to the end of the 8 weeks, you can put the whole thing together and submit it. And I will go through each section that you turn in and give you very detailed feedback so that you know exactly what's happening. And after I just said that, it's like it would be almost impossible to do the instructional plan as a solo when you're going back and forth between the 2. You may have to rethink that real quick and change that to a group project so that you stay with your group all the way through. Does that make sense? I will think about that and decide by Monday night when we meet next week and give you the final verdict on it. Because I'm thinking, I didn't think about when I was looking at the spiral curriculum, it's like it makes so much sense to go back and forth between the two assignments, but I didn't think about them being two different people doing them. So it might be better to put it in. So anyway, you guys are going to be my pilot group for this as far as the spiral curriculum. So see, I told you we'd be done by 6, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot longer tonight. I do expect graduate level writing, and if you send me an email, I almost always answer within 24 hours. And if I'm not going to be able to, I will tell you ahead of time that I'm not going to be available. Like I'm not going to have internet, or I'm going to be in meetings or whatever. If you don't get a response from me within 24 hours, you can assume that it didn't go through. So send it again. Check the email address. Make sure that your internet's working. Mine could be down for some reason or whatever. So I respond very quickly to emails. Assignments are always due Sunday night at midnight, because that gives you the weekend to kind of finalize them and finish them up. I found that most people, if they finish their assignments like by Wednesday or Thursday, let it sit for a day and then reread it and read it out loud. You'll catch most of your grammar or mistakes, and then correct those and then submit them on Sunday or Saturday then if you want to. That gives you the weekend to get everything finished up. And I try to get everything graded within a couple of days of when it's submitted. There are times that other things interfere and I don't get it done, but I try to get feedback to you as quickly as I can. Okay? So now I want to know, I was talking with some of you before we started, but I want to go through each person that's here and talk about who they are, how long they've taught, what they've taught, how many years they've taught special ed. This is the first year. How many IEPs have you written? Okay, so I'm going to start with Jamie.
Sorry, my mouse isn't working right.
That's okay.
I have taught, this is my 14th year.
You just went real quiet. Can you up your microphone, please?
Is that better?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I've taught 14 years. What was the other information? Sorry.
Is this your first year in special ed?
This is my first year in special ed. This is my 4th year working with gifted students, though.
Okay. How many IEPs have you written? Any?
Nope.
Have you sat in on any of the meetings? No, that's okay.
Oh, yeah. I've sat on plenty.
Okay, so you have an idea of what they're about.
Mm-hmm. I did my first 504 today, so there you go.
Oh, yay, you're good. Okay. Kelly, you're next on my list. Oh, wait a minute. Jamie, where are you?
I'm in Perry, Oklahoma.
Okay. Kelly, you're next.
This is my first year in SPED. I've been teaching for 8 years total, for facts, business, health, and then now on to high incidence SPED. I'm working on writing 2 IEPs at the moment because they're both due in about 2 weeks. So I'll have a lot of reasons for it. I think that was it. Oh, I'm from El Dorado, so close to Wichita.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Ashley. Okay, you need to, here you go. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm Ashley. I am teaching in Hayesville. This is my 8th year in education, but my first year in special education. I've sat in on numerous IEP meetings. However, having written them, we did a boot camp, an IEP boot camp this summer. So we did some a crash course. We did some practice ones. And I'm currently working on 3 move-ins.
Okay.
That's my experience, and I teach K1 special ed.
Okay. Samantha, you're next.
Okay, and I apologize. My kid's like running around, so I may have to go grab him. As I said, I'm at Hayes Middle School. I've got 6th and 7th graders on my caseload. This is my 4th year teaching SPED, and I've lost count as to how many IEPs I've written over the last 3. So I have my first IEP for the year, August 30th. So I am going to be working on that, and yeah, that's about it for me. So.
Okay. Good. Cassie?
Okay, so my video keeps going in and out, so sorry about that. I have done 4 years as a para. This will be my 3rd year teaching special education. I do 7th and 8th grade middle school in Benton. And roughly about maybe 35 IEPs in the past 2 years, because we have some big caseloads, so I think it's about 35.
Okay. Is it Celia? Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are. Can you hear me?
Not very well. Can you up your
Volume?
please?
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Hi. Well, girls, I have taught for 36 years, and I retired 3 years ago, and call me crazy. I'm going back, never done special education. I am doing gifted 3rd grade through high school. Never written an IEP. I have sat in on IEPs, and I'm currently working on one, so I'm very new to this. So learning something new.
It keeps your brain young.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, Judy?
Okay, well, I'm not teaching. I did teach for a year. I'm in K through 12 instrumental and vocal music. This last summer, I did teach a K through 3rd grade cross-cat class for the summer school. But I have been a para for 10 years. I have helped teachers with their IEPs. I have sat in on IEP meetings, a wide assortment of things. And I have been full gamut from kindergarten all the way up through high school. Right now I'm in a goals class, which is for severe disability.
Okay.
And so I love it though.
Good. Leah?
Hi, my name's Leah. I'm in Kansas City, and this is my 1st year teaching. I just got my master's at KU, and I'm trying to get my endorsement for high incidence. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now. And this is my 1st year. I was a para for 2 years in the past.
So what's your master's in?
Autism spectrum disorder.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
All right. Stu?
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, welcome to the back room of Starbucks. I just got off work, so that's why you see people walking in and out of that door and the washing machine and stuff, so welcome. I actually just moved back to Texas over the summer. I'm taking the year off to help take care of my mom, so I'm not teaching, which is really weird because this would have been year 8 for me, so I miss my kids already. I've done everything from early childhood through college, and I don't have any idea how many IEPs I've written, so we'll just see what happens this year. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Good. Okay, Stephen?
I'm Steven. It's my 2nd year as a SPED teacher. I've probably wrote maybe I think 18 IEPs was my caseload last year. I'm at Piper High School in Kansas City, Kansas.
I hear somebody.
I have
Heather?
a really loud baby.
How old?
She's 4 months and 3 weeks.
She is really talking to you.
Oh yeah, she's super energetic.
That's good. Okay, Heather?
This is my 14th year teaching. I've been in early childhood until this year. It's my 1st year in SPED. And now I'm doing behavior support with kindergarten and 1st grade.
Okay, and where are you?
Oh, Hutchinson, Kansas.
Okay. Beth?
So, I started as a para for 4 years in a SPED, early childhood preschool. I went to Ottawa and got my bachelor's in elementary education, and I subbed a little bit. Then I worked in Mound City, Kansas in 4th grade. I looped with most of last 5th grade, And then I came to my kids' home district. And so, yeah, this is my second year of SPED K through 5 here. And we don't have a school psych right now, so I'm learning how to do testing and all kinds of extra paperwork that I didn't do last year.
You know, some people panic over the situations, but I always look at it as like, it's going to teach me more. It's a good thing to do. Yeah. Okay, Karen?
Hey, I've been in special ed I've taught for 17 years. I think this is my 17th year. And I've been in special ed for 15 of those. My bachelor's is in deaf ed. And I taught several different grades, ages, all the way from probably 3 years old to 21. I'm teaching now learning disabilities. I'm also certified in learning disabilities and elementary. And I've done that too and didn't care for that at all. Elementary education and the regular ed. Didn't like that at all. Yeah, that was a nightmare. But I'm in a little elementary school in Spartanburg, and I am teaching 3rd through 5th graders ELA, and as far as IPs, literally written hundreds, I'm sure. I was an online before, an online high school, and was a special ed coordinator there, and I've written hundreds, I'm sure. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
It? Questions? Okay. I'm sorry, what?
No, that's okay. You're fine. Erin?
Okay, I'm in Sedan, Kansas, which is in southeast Kansas, near Coffeyville or Independence, Art City. Everything's like an hour around. This is my 3rd year teaching. I taught high school history, and then I taught junior high, 6th and 7th, English and history. And now this will be my 1st year in 6th through 8 SPED. And I've never written an IEP. I've sat in on one meeting. But we are switching to this online housing database through Greenbush. Mm-hmm. And so I've been systematically putting all my caseload into that. So I'm getting a good feel for IEPs because I have to retype the entire thing into the database.
It's a good experience that way.
That's right. It's way to get there. And I have 2 due in September. So I got to get these uploaded so I can start working on the new ones.
Yeah. Okay. Kim?
Hi, I'm Kim Perry. I'm from Wayne, New Jersey, but I teach in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. It's really close to New York City, about like 40 minutes, not even from here. Sorry, that's my dog. I've been a regular ed kindergarten teacher for 16 years now, and I've never written an IEP.
Okay, that's okay. Good. Okay, Sandy?
Hi, I am in Bonner Springs. It will be my 9th year teaching, my 2nd year in middle school gifted. In my 1st year of special education, I wrote 45 IEPs, and I was in 47 different IEP meetings. And Stephen and I are actually in co-op, so I've met Stephen before.
All right. Okay, Samantha?
I am in Great Bend, Kansas, and this is my 3rd year of special ed. I teach kindergarten through 6th grade, and I write about an average of 30 IEPs a school year.
Okay, did I get everybody? I do not want to leave everybody out. Some people, when their video goes in and out, when their picture comes back on, it changes locations on the screen, and so therefore I'm not sure who all I've done. Did I get everybody? Yes? Did I miss anybody? Okay, so, as I said, I've been around since dirt, and I started teaching, I've been teaching longer than most of you guys have been breathing. So I've been around a really long time. I've had a lot of experience. I work and remember that the terminology has changed and become politically correct over the years. So when I first started, I worked at a home. It was called the Beatrice State Home for the Severely Profoundly Retarded. And that was when, if you had a baby at birth, they could tell was Down syndrome or hydrocephalic, microcephalic, whatever. They went to a state institution, and mamas never saw their babies. They were just whisked away, and that was the end of it. I mean, it was, you know, and so what happened was the residents there became socially retarded, more so than as much so as they were mentally handicapped. So that was a true learning experience for me, and not necessarily, I mean, thank goodness, like 2 years after I was there, the institution closed, and all those people were put back out in group placements in their home area. Then I worked at the State Hospital in Topeka, and at that time it was called the State Hospital for the Criminally Insane. So look at how much, and you know, things have changed. You know, it's changed an awful lot, thank goodness. Anyway, I worked there, and you know, it was a very unrealistic setting, I guess is what I want to say, because at the state hospital, there was a phone on my desk, and that's not when it was common to have a phone in your classroom. But as soon as the receiver came off the cradle, the guards came in and took over your classroom because the kids were so tough. Some of them were, you know, well, it was on that, anyways, they were of the age where some of them had committed murder and some things like that. So it was pretty tough kids. But the thing was, those of us that were trained there never learned how to deal with discipline and behavior issues because the guards always stepped in and took over. And so then I had to learn it in the public school setting because that's a whole different ball of wax than it was at the state hospital. And then I have worked for High Plains Co-op, High Plains Educational Co-op in Southwest Kansas. I started in 1978 and retired a year ago, May, from there. And they have a policy that those of you guys that are new would really appreciate. Their policy is any IEPs that come due before the 1st of October have to be written in April or May, so that when school starts, you're not trying to learn a whole new caseload of kids and have to do IEPs on kids that you don't know very well. So all you had to deal with coming in was the transfer students. So it made it a whole lot easier. It's a really nice policy. And when they implemented it, I didn't appreciate it as much as what I do now. Because now seeing, you know, I'm still mentoring new teachers for the special ed co-op in addition to teaching for Hayes full time. But seeing them trying to struggle, they're brand new, trying to do even a transition IEP for somebody moving into them. It's tough because you don't know the kids very well, and you haven't got that relationship established with them. So anyway, that's kind of my background. I live in Scott City, which is in the middle of everywhere. We're about 4.5 hours from Wichita, about 4 hours from Amarillo, 5 hours from Denver, 4 hours from Colorado Springs. So I used to say I was in the middle of nowhere, but I've decided it's in the middle of everywhere instead. 2 hours from campus in Hayes, and I go to campus every Wednesday. So if you need to contact me by phone, you can call the office number that's listed on the syllabus, and it comes straight to me as a voicemail so that I get it. So, and I think it takes about 6 hours for that translation to come through and be sent ahead to me. But anyway, and I respond to those as quickly as I can. So we still have 20 minutes. Do you have any questions that I can answer for you before we do too much more? Nobody's got questions?
Well, looking online.
Okay.
The IEP group project.
Yes.
And then we create a group.
Yeah. You just, have you opened that link?
Yes, where it says create a group. That one?
Oh, I have to look. Let me share my screen and we'll see if we can do it this way, okay? Oh, goodness. Are you sharing your screen?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I'm looking at my, just my school computer.
Okay, somebody's sharing their screen. I don't know what is happening. Let me override you. I don't know who's, okay, can you see the Blackboard page? Okay, So if you go to IEP group project, okay, so there are groups there.
Mine doesn't look like that. Mine, like when I click on it, it just says gifted group sign up.
You don't see all the others?
Mm-mm.
Mine doesn't do that
Mine
either.
doesn't look like that either.
No.
Interesting, because mine didn't look like this yesterday either. I don't know what
When I
happened.
went to it, it said to create your own group, so I created the gifted group.
Okay, gotcha. So I could.
Okay, but you're not supposed to create groups.
Well, we can't see the other ones then.
Okay, so I will fix that and then you guys will sign up for it later because it's not showing up like it's supposed to.
No.
And I don't know. Yeah, it's not showing up like it's supposed to. I've never seen that page before like that. That's interesting. Anyway, I will fix it.
Okay.
And I just created the groups or set the groups up like there's 12 of them. I don't know, last week. So I'll fix that and then how many people, okay, let me quit sharing for a second. How many of you are in the gifted group program? I know 2 at least. 4,
Celia is.
5. Okay, so it's Sandy, Jamie, Kim, Celia, who else? I saw another hand, I thought. Okay, if it's just 4, then you guys can pick who you 4 work together, not work together, it'd be 2 groups. So make sure when you sign up for those groups, but don't sign up until next week, okay? So that I have time to get this fixed, please. Okay, let me show you, maybe the other class, it looks right.
You go get Grace.
We'll see what this one looks like. That's what it's supposed to look like. Nope. Okay, and there's your groups. And see, there's a sign-up sheet to join a group. Like that. That's what it's supposed to be. I don't know what happened to the other one. I'll go in and play with it and fix it back. This is what it's supposed to look.
I'm not seeing anything.
I'm not seeing that either.
Oh, darn. I forgot to share. I'm sorry. You know, yeah. Okay, so let me back it out for a little bit. Okay. Can you see it now? Okay, so when I click on IEP group project, then there's an IEP group project button. And then there's the group. Okay, let's say that group 1 and 2, and you're gonna have to look because it numbers them like 1, then it goes to 10. That's just because that's the way it numbers stuff. So let's say groups 1 and 2 are the groups for the gifted folks. Okay, and we may have to do an extra group for gifted because we have several people that aren't in the session tonight. So let's say 1 and 2 are gifted, and then we'll wait and see on the others if somebody else joins in that needs to be in the gifted part. So, and if I don't make a note of that, I won't remember.
You want us to wait to sign up for our group projects till next
Please,
week?
till next week.
Okay. And I missed how you sign up for that. I'm sorry. This is new.
That's okay. All you have to do. Okay, let me back out so you can see that. You go to the group project, the little button on the left,
Uh-huh. I see.
and then the IEP group project,
Yep.
and then it's got the groups. And then all you have to do is click on one of those and sign it, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay, sure. That's part of what I'm here for, is to help navigate some of that. Okay?
Also,
Go ahead.
say that you will provide a case student for
Mhm.
us.
Mhm.
Okay, and so that's in there somewhere.
It's
too?
in the assignments.
Oh, okay.
If you go in the assignments tab, IEP assignment. Oh, I'm not sharing. Just because I can see it, I assume that you can.
It looks like I found them on my side. Looks like they're there.
Okay, so go to assignments. IEP assignment. And then see it's got It's got gifted case studies and high incidence case studies. You see, am I sharing still?
Yeah.
Can you see that? Okay. All right. And then the case study is down here. And then there's a WebKids, which is the Kansas version of Keystone Learning's IEP. And it's a blank one. And I don't know if it'll show up if I open this, but I'll try. I may have to reshare. Can you see it? Okay, so that's what it looks like. And we're going to do it in chunks. So don't get crazy and do all of it at once. Okay? And those of you next week, when you log in, I'm going to ask you, because I have to tell you, I won't remember who's experienced and who's not. It'd be best if somebody that's inexperienced works with somebody who does have experience. It'll make it easier. Then it's kind of like the blind leading the blind otherwise sometimes, you know, that old saying. So somebody that's got some experience can kind of help mentor somebody new through it. And High Plains Educational Cooperative out here is one of the front runners, one of the leaders as far as implementing all of the changes in the legal stuff. And so if I say something or do something that's contrary to what your district does, I'm doing it according to what the latest legal decisions are based on lawsuits and Kansas Association of School Board decisions. Your district may not have implemented it yet or may interpret it differently to implement. I'm not going to ding you on it. I mean, I'm not going to count it wrong, but I'll correct it to the way that High Plains, to the way that it ought to be done for the future. Okay, just so you know. When I go in and I do feedback on your papers, I do it in red font. I'm going to do it within your document so that you'll be able to see it. How many of you have used the review mode on Word before and know how to use it comfortably? I'm getting some yays and nays and no's. I like to use the review mode because I can make comments off to the side, but then you have to take it out of review mode to submit your paper because all papers have to be submitted in just regular, the way they're supposed to be. And nothing can be in a PDF. It's got to be a Word document. And that's part of special ed policy. And some of the people that have Chromebooks, if you only have access to a Chromebook and you don't have Word on there, call Tiger Tech because you all, as students at Fort Hays, have access to Office 365 online. That's part of your course fees. So if you don't have it and you want to use it, that version of it, call Tiger Tech and they can help you download it. I don't know exactly how to do that. I mean, I know how to download it for myself, but I don't know how the students go about getting it. But they can tell you, okay? Anything that you submit to this class or any other class as far as an assignment, save after you've corrected it in a file on your computer or a flash drive or wherever you save stuff, but don't save it on the Fort Hays stuff, because at the end of this class, after about 3 days after grades are submitted, you no longer have access to the course or to your assignments that you turned in. So, and you're going to have examples of assignments to be artifacts for your comprehensive portfolio for graduation, and they'll come from all different assignments or from all different courses. So make sure that you keep a folder that's got all, or somehow keep a copy, and it's going to have to be electronic because you submit them electronic for your portfolio, but make sure that you keep a folder with all your assignments in it because you're going to draw from all your different classes for your portfolio.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure. Maybe I can answer it and maybe I can't. I'll try.
Well, I guess I have two questions. I've been saving everything through Google Docs and saving a file that way. I started with Word, but then it sounded like they wanted us to use Google. And then, yeah, I don't know how I would switch it all over to Word. I know I can do PDF.
When you download from Google Docs, you know how you can download from it? You can tell it to open in. Let me see if I can show you one, okay? You know, I'm not going to be able to do this just because I'm going to try and show you right now. it never works like you think it's going to. On the other.
You know what? I see it on my. I do see
See
it.
the open in or open with?
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
find it?
Yep.
Okay.
So they'll want an actual Word doc, and they won't want links to like portfolios or anything.
They'll give you exactly what they want. There's very specific instructions. If you go to, let me show you.
I was going through like the portfolio list. It didn't say exactly how.
If you go to the special ed page, it says portfolio. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then it tells you exactly how to do it and the standards that you have to address. And see, there's even the grading rubric, and you have a peer reviews it before you submit it. Anyway, you submit it. You know, I've only been on the grading side and not the submitting side. Everything that I read on there is in a Word doc,
Okay.
electronic. Okay.
So you don't see links to portfolios or links to Google Slides or.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I mean, that's all I know. Because I think, I know Dr. Lubin is the one that's in charge of, because she's the program coordinator, she's the one that's in charge of people doing the portfolio. And she'll send you an email when you sign up and say that you're going to graduate, you intend to graduate, and that you have to complete your portfolio and all that. And she's very good, but very specific step-by-step instructions that tell you exactly how to do it. And I think, and then she has one of the grad assistants go through your portfolio first, because there are some things like there's a video that you have to do or as part of your portfolio to make sure that it works. And then they contact you if it doesn't, so that you can help fix, so they can help you fix it. So they're really good about working with you to get it done.
All right. Thank you. We'll just
Yeah. I'm not very much help on that. I just have been on the reading side of them. You know, I help score them, but I don't help upload them or do anything with that. So how many of you are close to being done? Anybody? Sandy, Samantha, Sammy? Oh, several of you. Are you going to graduate this semester? In the spring?
Spring.
Yay. That's cool. That's very good. Okay, well, our time is just about done. Do you have any other questions? Anybody? Okay, our next Zoom session is next Monday night. Let me pull up my Word document again. At 6 o'clock instead of 5. And the Zoom sessions are only going to last an hour. Okay. And I will post this recording and send it, the link to it, and send it out in an announcement. And my notes. Okay. If you have questions, email me. Be sure that you put 806 VA in your the subject line so I know which class you're referencing. Okay. So until next Monday, have a good week. Survive your beginning weeks of school and those first IEPs. Good grief, you guys are hitting it hard and hitting it strong right off the bat. Anyway, good luck, okay?
Thank you.
I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Jerry.